Oh, goodness. This week we're fishing at Madeira Beach, Johns Pass. More grouper coming to this pass than any other place in the state of Florida. This week we're fishing with Alex Applefield, and this kid's got the grouper dialed in. And this is the thing to do this time of the year. Red grouper is going to be our target. Season's open. We're looking to put some in the cooler. I drove over to Madeira Beach the night before, stayed at the courtyard, and had plans of meeting Alex first thing the next morning. All right, we're in Madeira Beach, the west central section of Florida, Tampa Bay, St. Pete region. We're going out of Johns Pass. Alex Applefield, what do we have planned?
Try to get us some red groupers, maybe some gags, and a couple mangoes mixed in.
And this is the place. This is the place to grouper fish, right?
Yeah. This is one of the top producers of red grouper out of the country, I believe.
All right, and how far off we're gonna be going? What's the plan?
Anywhere between about 15 to 20 miles.
And how deep of water would that put us?
45, 65 foot.
So really the important thing here though is to find the hard bottom. These grouper on the hard bottom.
Yep, just gonna find a nice piece of hard bottom, work zigzag it and try to find a nice little pocket of fish.
One of the most sought after bottom fish on the east and west coast of Florida, the grouper. There's over 160 species worldwide of the grouper, but in Florida, the red and the gag reign supreme. Florida anglers push their tackle to the test with these hard-fighting fish. With their large mouths and stout bodies, once hooked, these fish will do everything in their power to get back to the holes where they came from. Targeted not only for their sporty fight, grouper are ranked as one of the best table fare from the salt. When talking about grouper habitat, the one common denominator is structure. Whether it's hard rocky bottoms, reefs, drop-offs, or inshore bridges and docks, these are structure-oriented fish. No area better exemplifies prime grouper habitat than the central Gulf Coast of Florida. Both recreational and commercial fishermen target this top-level predator at places like Johns Pass, right here in Madeira Beach. With such demand on these fish, strict regulations are required to ensure a sustainable future. Size limits and regulations vary from coast to coast and from state to federal waters. It's the responsibility of the angler to know the regulations to ensure grouper will be around for future generations to enjoy. Alex was nice enough, he penned up some pinfish the day before, so our plan was to go ahead, load the Triton up with those, stop, pick up some dead bait for cut bait on the bottom, and head 15 to 20 miles offshore and look for these red grouper. The Gulf is funny. On these days that it's blowing northeast like today, the further offshore you got, the rougher it was going to get. And by the time we got out to the fishing grounds, it was a good solid 2 to 3, but definitely still fishable in the Triton Bay boat. Talking to Alex, he said, we're going to spend some time, we're going to look for some good bottom. You're not looking for a lot of relief. There's not a lot of, that steps off the bottom here that you're going to see on the machine. So much of this bottom is a Swiss cheese bottom. These fish are actually sitting down in these holes. So you can see this is a harder bottom. You're getting this reading down here below the bottom. Then here is more sand. It's not as dense. So we're looking for these areas where it changes. And you can see we went from hard bottom to soft bottom. We turned right back around. We're trying to get back on that hard bottom.
Yeah, George, what I like to do when I come out here is pull up to the number, see if anything's showing on the spot. Nothing's showing directly on the spot. I like to spend my time, zigzagging the edge of the hard bottom and wait till we find a nice little show.
All right, the setup that we're gonna use is, so we got some Penn Fathom conventionals. These are the 40s. This is 60-pound spider wire. It's going to a piece of 60-pound Berkeley Pro-Spec fluorocarbon leader. We got a 4-ounce lead on a knocker rig. And we'll just have here is a 7/0 trocar hook. So you need a circle hook when you're Gulf fishing, reef fish. It's mandatory. That's what we're going to use today. And we're just dropping down a piece of threadfin herring. Cut the tail off so it doesn't spin, drop it down to the bottom, and hopefully get the bite. What's great about this fishing is it's constant action. You may not be getting the size fish that you want or actually the fish that you want, but it is an awesome place to take out somebody that's new to fishing or take some kids out here because you just drop a bait down to the bottom and I'm telling you, it doesn't last a couple minutes. Got him? Feel like the right one?
Be a nice little red grouper.
I like how you call it out.
I do. Little short, but it'd be close.
How big they gotta be?
Oh, no, here's a little gag. These gags have to be 22 inches.
Okay. You know, different than the East Coast, which is a quick drop off. You have a couple different reef lines, but you know, a couple miles offshore, you're in a couple hundred feet of water, and bottom fishing is not a possibility. In the Gulf of Mexico, 20 miles offshore, you're only in 50 feet of water. So there's so much ground out here to bottom fish.
Real-time Florida Sportsman is brought to you by Eagle Claw Trocar, the sharpest fish hooks in the world.
I think I'm gonna try a live bait, George. We got the little guy's all fired up on this cut bait.
Got him?
Yep.
Dropped that live bait down there. It didn't last long, did it?
No, it didn't. Let's see what we got here. There's a nice red grouper.
That's a keeper.
Pretty close. Maybe 20 inches.
You got that measure right there behind you.
Oof, just short.
Oh,
Just short.
just short?
19 3/4.
All right, well, the morning was slow. We were bouncing around from spot to spot, really spending the time looking for the hard bottom, and we were finding the hard bottom, but the keepers just weren't there. Everything kept coming up half-inch short. With these knocker rigs, all we're doing is just dropping that bait down to the bottom and letting a little slack out. And with the live bait, that weight's gonna drop into the bottom, then he can kind of swim away from it a little bit. So just leaving a little bit of slack in the line. Just wait until you feel that thump, that circle hook, all you gotta do is reel. Grouper are hard fighting fish. You better bring some tackle that you can stop them with. We're using the spider wire stealth, no stretch at all, and that's important. You get the bite, crank the drag down, pull them off the bottom, get him a couple feet off the bottom. Once you got him coming, you don't want him to turn his head, get back in that hole. There's one.
It's a good start.
Just made a little move. Not far at all from the other numbers. Just gotta bounce around, not sit in one spot too long. As soon as we dropped down, I got bit. Small red. Oh, look at this. 2 tags.
Oh, check that out.
Look at that. So talk about management of a fishery. You got biologists out here tagging these fish, try to give them some information on where we caught them, how big he is, and they have information when they released him. So there's an 800 number that you call in on the tag, and in hindsight, talking to the researchers at University of Florida, you don't actually have to pull that tag. You can write the number down and release the fish still tagged if he's undersized. This fish actually had 2 tags in him. I pulled 1 tag, I made the call. With these fish, in that area, they were doing some research on different types of release methods and seeing the mortality rate of release methods, meaning they vent some fish, they use release tools where they send them down to the bottom, and also where they just release them on the surface. And what they were looking for is gathering that information on which technique was best, which had the lowest mortality rate. And it's kind of cool. You call this information in, they tell you when the fish was caught last, how big he was. They're nice enough to even send you a t-shirt.
This is a nice one, George, huh?
Yeah, I'm a little more comfortable with the spinning rod. And there's really no reason you can't, in 50 feet of water, just use a spinning rod, a conventional rod, whatever works for you.
Yep.
Same basic setup. There's a small one. Now these smaller ones, you find these closer inshore, or
They tend to be a little more inshore, a lot of smaller ones.
Pretty fish, they got green eyes. There's no lull in action. You're gonna be catching something. It may not be exactly what you want, the size you want, but for a day of just wearing your muscles out, this is the fishery to do it at. We actually caught a keeper scamp grouper out there, some smaller gag groupers, so there is, a variety of grouper species in this same area.
Well, it feels like you got a little more size to him.
Yeah, a little better. Live bait?
Yep. Oh yeah.
I just got broken off and you got that.
Nice scamp grouper right here. He's got to be 16 inches to the tip of the tail.
So how do you know that's a scamp? I mean, it's just the coloring of
They
him?
got a little yellow on their lips and the tip of their fins. This is a juvenile, but he's keeper.
How big do they have to be again?
16 inches.
16 inches. Let's measure him.
Yep. This is about 17.
All right, throw him in the Yeti.
You going in the Yeti. In the Yeti.
Nice.
Let's get us another one.
We kept moving from spot to spot, and Alex kept saying, listen, when you find them, you find the keeper-sized fish, you're gonna find more than one. But unfortunately, you know, in that depth, we spent a lot of time, most of the morning. It was probably 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we decided, you know what, we need to change something up. The keeper fish just aren't here. We kind of put our heads together and said, listen, they're not shallow. We're already 15, 20 miles offshore. Let's just make another 5-mile run offshore, head out to a little deeper water and see if the bigger fish are sitting out there. Please.
One's looking like a nice one, huh, George?
It looks a little better.
Think that might be him, George.
Oh my goodness, if it is.
Another close one right here.
Definitely a little better quality one here. I dropped the pinfish down to the bottom. We moved out a little deeper here. And just a matter of keep moving, not stopping. How big's that one?
This one's 19, so.
Let's get a good measurement on this one. This one's gonna be close. I'll hold the tail at the end. You show me.
Oh, we're there. We're 21.
Oh, oh my goodness. I'd never be so happy to catch a 21-inch fish, but I tell you, that's what we were after right there. The red grouper. Gulf of Mexico is loaded with these things, but today we're just getting a lot of shorts, but it's just a matter of putting our time in, covering a lot of water. Got one for the dinner table. Just throw him on the Yeti.
Real-time Florida Sportsman is brought to you by Ray Marine. Don't just go fishing, go hunting underwater.
So we pulled out to a little deeper spot. It's probably, I think we're in 70 feet of water now, maybe 15 feet deeper of water, but you could tell immediately things were different. You know, you're getting some different marks on the Ray Marine. We're seeing fish on the bottom, and I tell you, we dropped that bait down there, and immediately we had a keeper. Look at that technique, those short pumps. Learned a lot from Alex. Getting them off the bottom is the important thing. Oh, that's the right one.
Oh, there you go.
I got a good one. They swim off to the side, you know they're a little bigger. Oh, there we go.
George, is he there?
You got another one?
Is he there?
You're at 20. Let's see, you're definitely at 20.
I'm right over the line.
All right, that's another one.
All right.
Look at this one.
Another one for the Yeti.
This grouper fishing around here is huge, as we talked about coming out in that Johns Pass. I know it's a big commercial hub for grouper fishing. I know they probably supply, you know, most of the area, or probably most of Florida or most of the country with these grouper. But, you know, again, though, there's a huge recreational economic impact as well. You know, you put a dollar price on a fish, and unfortunately they tend to suffer sometimes, but you know, from a recreational standpoint, they've already determined that a pound of grouper is worth 5 times recreationally what it's worth commercially. You know, not saying anything bad about commercial, because we need the fish. You know, we just need to make it sustainable, and it's kind of nice to see that they've opened this limit up year-round for these red grouper.
Yeah, definitely.
You pretty much need an app on your phone to keep you informed of the changes that take place from the regulations surrounding grouper. It's amazing. Circle hooks, J hooks, venting tools, no venting tools, the size of the fish, the seasons. I raved over how the regulatory commissions had opened up red grouper season year-round when we were filming the show. A week later when we're filming voiceovers, season is closed now. They changed it, changed their mind. Nope, now season's closed for the rest of the year. I, more than anybody else, want these fish here for the future, for my children and their children. But as recreation anglers, we need to get involved. We need to do the research and be involved in the research, but at the same time, we need to have a voice of, let our voices be heard and make sure that the season is fair share, that the recreational angler can get out here year-round and catch a fish or two. Alex, you've been saying this all day. You get on them, you get on that spot, and it happens. It's just a matter of moving and finding them, huh?
Yeah, George, I mean, once you get on them, you shouldn't have to go too far. It should be nonstop, up and down.
It's crazy. We've made a lot of moves today. I'm not afraid to say it. Just bouncing around from spot to spot, a lot of short fish. Finally pushed out a little deeper, a couple miles more offshore. And as you can see, the action's pretty good.
There we got a nice one here, George. Feels a little better. Oh yeah.
Nothing's really changed. All we've done is just changed our depth. We were in 55 feet of water. We moved out to 70, about a 5-mile run offshore. And again, just found some hard bottom.
Producing some fish.
Producing fish. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a solid fish right there.
That's what we came for.
We're just gonna fill this up. We've got a ton of ice in here. But a great thing to do is just make a slurry out of this ice and salt water. This is our raw water washdown pump. We're just gonna fill this with some water, some salt water, and it's really gonna drop that temperature of that down. It's really gonna chill those fish off right away. Keep them nice and cold. The meat will stay a lot better, a lot longer, higher quality. If you come out this way, you do this much to catch the fish, you might as well preserve the meat and make it as good as possible.
Real-Time Florida Sportsman is brought to you by Triton Boats. We take America fishing.
So Alex is right. We found the spot, we're on them. In 20 minutes, we had a limit of fish. Bottom, huh?
Yep. Nope.
Swam out of the bottom. At the bottom anymore, bottom moving. Had you in a hole?
Yeah, got me. Must have ate it right in that thing. Oh, that'll explain it.
Mr. Gag made it to the party.
Where you come from?
And how big does he gotta be?
22.
22.
That one there is about our favorite number. 19.
That's been the number of the day. Alex is a great young guy, He comes from a family of fishing, has a true passion for it. You can see that, he has this fishery dialed in. I don't know what the kid does for work. It sounds like he fishes every day. Oh, that's a better fish right there.
Get him, George.
No, you don't.
Oh yeah.
That one's digging for the bottom. I'm about worn out from catching all the 19-inchers. That one dug for the bottom. He wasn't getting there though, man. I put that brakes on with that 80-pound braid. Oh, here's a good one. Look at that chunker right there. Look at that chunker. That's it right there. That's it. Last one is my biggest. We had to cover some water, really cull through a lot of short fish, but I tell you what a fishery over here. Johns Pass in the west central section of Florida, probably grouper capital of the world. Excellent eating, awesome fighting. Doesn't get any better than this.
No, it don't, George.
What do you say, man? Throw this one in the Yeti and head home?
Let's get us something to eat.
Yeah, clean these up. Wow. More grouper come through Johns Pass on Madeira Beach than any other place in the state of Florida, and I see why. This place has an incredible bottom, incredible fishery. Red grouper was our targeted species today, And I tell you, excellent eating, fun to catch, but you know, we really need to get involved for the future of this fishery. We all like eating grouper at restaurants, but at the same time, you know, I want to be able to go out there any weekend of the year and catch fish with my children. There's plenty of red grouper out there. We need to get involved as recreational anglers. Join an organization like the CCA that keeps us informed and looks out for the rights of the recreational angler. Alex Applefield took us out into the Gulf and put us on the red grouper. He was right. Sometimes you gotta look around, you gotta find that right bottom, but when you do, you can quickly fill up your cooler. Finger in there. Calvin, come on over here and put your finger in here. Oh! Huh? That's real time. Real time.